Every business has a logo, and when it's yours, it matters. GPS is a 30-year local Las Vegas company that produces custom merch, like hats and apparel, drinkware and totes, blankets and bandanas, really any kind of swag you can imagine that features your logo or message. They're experts at finding or creating the right products for the season and the reason that fit your budget and timeline. Check out the GPS website at gpslasvegas.com, where there's a world of products to promote your brand. A decade ago, Las Vegas didn't have a single major league sports team. But with the Trop dropping to make way for the A's, some are declaring us the sports capital of the world. But what does that really mean? Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm talking to Bailey Schultz, consumer news reporter for USA Today and a Vegas local, to find out if we should celebrate or dread this new era of Vegas tourism. It's Wednesday, November 13th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Bailey, is Las Vegas about to be the sports capital of the world?
We are definitely hearing that push with that label. I think the city is definitely focusing on sports right now and trying to really integrate sports and sports offerings as a way to attract tourists.
So this is a Vegas rebrand.
A little bit, where I think this is just a new focus, where of course we still have the restaurants, the gaming, that isn't going away. But I think that people, the leaders in the city are really looking at sports as a new way to just attract more people to Las Vegas.
And do you think we're going to live up to this new moniker of being the sports capital of the world?
I think the city has really come a long way over the past couple of decades with this push for this title where, you look back in the early 2000s and back then when the NFL was hosting Super Bowls, they wouldn't let Las Vegas air an ad. And then you see Las Vegas hosting the Super Bowl. So we've really come a long way as far as just our relationship with those leagues and the arenas, the leagues we have here in town.
You know, that's really surprising. I never thought about it that way, that at one point Las Vegas was not allowed to advertise Las Vegas during the Super Bowl. And now, I mean, we had a very successful Super Bowl year. So what has changed in the last 20 years that has resulted in that sort of change of attitude towards our city?
Yeah, no, great question. The experts I spoke to kind of point to a couple of things where just as far as why we all of a sudden have 3 major league sports and we're looking to add a 4th. One is just the growth in Las Vegas, where our population has really taken off. We're about double the size now in Clark County than we were in the early 90s or in the late 90s. So more people here in town. And then 2 is just we've seen this sort of stigma around sports betting kind of really fade over the past couple of decades, where we're now, like I said earlier, you have the NFL not allowing even ads that don't mention sports betting from Las Vegas to having the Super Bowl hosted in the city.
Yeah, so that was the issue with not letting Las Vegas advertise, is that you could bet on sports within our city, and basically the NFL didn't want to support that?
Yeah, exactly. Where they point to just the fact that Las Vegas allowed sports betting, said, no, we can't host the sort of advertising for that, even though the ad that Las Vegas was pitching made no mention of sports betting. It was just, I think that synonymous with Las Vegas at the time, that the league did not want that sort of ad, did not want to touch out the 10-foot pole at the time.
So what do you think accounted for that cultural shift?
No, good question. I don't know if everyone I spoke to said there wasn't quite an easy answer with that. There's not one instance we can point to and say, okay, this happened and all of a sudden the country is fine with sports betting. It seemed like just sort of a gradual change in perspective, and things really shifted, of course, when we saw PASPA overturn in 2018. And that was this bill that at the time said, okay, we really don't want sports betting in the U.S. outside of Las Vegas. And when that was overturned, we really saw sports betting begin to take off across the country, where now we have, I think it's over 30 states with sports betting offerings. So the opinion on this has really shifted over the past couple of decades.
Ooh, so actually, in a way, we're not exclusive anymore. It's sort of like when, Vegas used to be the only place to gamble, but then we started to see, what was it, Calpazon versus, I don't remember, state of California. Anyway, that there could now be casinos on tribal lands, and then cities started opening up casinos. So if people can, do sports betting everywhere, what's going to bring them to Vegas?
Yeah, great question. I think the what makes Vegas stand out with sports betting is, yeah, we're known for those sort of sports books. We're known for having sports betting for a while. The city really knows how to attract visitors with its casinos and sports betting offerings. So I think, yeah, just that sort of brand and the legacy Vegas has around sports betting is what makes it stand out.
Hmm. So are we trying to attract sports fans or sports betting fans?
I think with these shifts, we're really focusing on those, and I think it might be a mix of both, where we're having these arenas built. We're really looking to host these big events and draw in visitors to things like Raiders games. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think the goal there is to get those sports fans a reason to come to Vegas, a reason to visit and spend money. And I think that ease stigma around sports betting has allowed those sort of arenas to be built in the city. And I think the casinos are thinking, okay, if these sports fans are here and they drop some money in the sports book, all the better.
Side salad, are you excited about the A's or no?
I am not a big baseball person. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
have a strong opinion on the A's coming. But yeah, no, it seemed, from what I can tell, opinions seemed mixed.
I mean, one of the things I love about Vegas is that we were sort of done after Golden Knights and WNBA. Like, it's that makes the city very beloved to me. That it's like, no, 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 we already have these two. We're good. And everything, like the major quote unquote league sports teams that came after that, like the NFL and baseball. Everyone's like, take it or leave it.
Prep for Thanksgiving at Whole Foods Market. Save now on no antibiotics ever frozen whole turkey, just $1.49 a pound with Prime. Sales on brie and select seafood appetizers help get things started. For sides, go with wallet-happy favorites from 365 by Whole Foods Market. And finish with decadent desserts from the bakery. Or get your whole spread catered. Just order early. Get Thanksgiving ready at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply.
So what is the plan here? Is the idea like you're going to come see your team play and then combine it with like a Vegas weekend? Like, are there incentives to get people like out of the stadiums and into the casinos?
I think the goal here, from what I've heard, is just to give more people a reason to visit Vegas, where there was
Mm,
this 2023 survey from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and they found that the number of people who said they attended a sporting event during their Las Vegas visit was 6% in 2023 versus
mm,
2% in 2018. So people have kind of been
mm.
pointing to those statistics as, okay, this is showing that we're seeing another reason for people to come to Las Vegas and spend money and, on those businesses here in town.
I mean, I respect that it tripled, but 6% is still a pretty slim amount of tourism dollars, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't say that's a giant portion of the visitors in Vegas by any means, but we are seeing that growth. I think what the people I spoke to were pointing to was just this is just adding another reason to try and draw people into town.
I mean, in the long list of things that millennials have ruined, I do know that a lot of those surveys that our tourism and gaming boards do point to the fact that millennials are gambling less and drinking
Mm-hmm.
more. So Vegas is trying to provide sort of events. But interestingly, this is like all the millennials I know love a beer on a Sunday game day, and a lot of them use sports betting as well. So it's kind of tapping into those things of the generation that's coming here and spending money the most right now.
Yeah, and I definitely heard that from people I spoke to for this article I worked on, where this is Las Vegas trying to shift and keep up with the times and
Mm,
what people are wanting. Where yeah, like we've seen the money that these casinos in town are making has shifted away from being, yeah, the percentage of money they're getting from gambling is less than what we saw in decades past. So this is just switching offerings, trying to keep up with what visitors are wanting.
the law that prevented sports betting was overturned in 2018. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So have there been any like cottage industries arising here in Vegas after that legalization of sports betting?
Yeah, so I there's this 2023 paper from UNLV Center for Business and Economic Research, and they found
Hmm.
that um, this Las Vegas getting these major sports teams in town has boosted the economy, one by drawing in more visitors, and two by
Hmm.
creating these new valuable jobs in these sports-related sectors like sports education. So when I spoke to one of the authors of that report, they were saying that this isn't necessarily Las Vegas diversifying its economy, which has been, a big focus for the leaders in the city of wanting to have a more diversified economy to help the city better withstand downturns. So this isn't necessarily doing that, but it is really boosting that hospitality sector in Las Vegas and helping that sector develop and helping ensure that Vegas continues to draw in visitors that pour money into the economy.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit of my next question. So, is this focus on sports attendance and sports betting? Do you feel that this is going to invest in our city sort of differently than the hospitality industry, or are the two connected?
From what the economists I spoke to said, those two are connected, where this is not a new industry in Las Vegas necessarily. This sort of does fit in that hospitality and leisure sector. We do see, like I said, that growth in some jobs like sports education, but overall that kind of fits into that broad sector that Vegas is already known for.
Okay, so we might see some new job creation. And aside from the direct benefit of, diversifying our economy and hopefully more money being paid into our economy, are there other direct benefits for Las Vegas and Clark County from this rise in sports tourism?
Yeah, so people I spoke to just really said this is a way to open up Las Vegas to more visitors, where hopefully this is drawing in more sports fans. But then we also have new venues like Allegiant Stadium, where now we can host things like artists like Beyonce and Taylor Swift in a big stadium like that. So that also draws in people, hopefully, is the goal. So I think, it's thinking long term on, okay, what can we do to continue to draw in visitors to the city?
We know how the casinos and the county are going to benefit from all this money flowing into it. But what's good for us, Bailey? How will the average Las Vegan benefit from Vegas becoming the sports capital of the world?
This is just hopefully boosting that hospitality and tourism sector where, no, we're not necessarily diversifying the economy in Las Vegas with this, but if we can boost that sector and help that continue to be successful, hopefully that will be good for the Las Vegas economy as a whole.
Are there potential negatives?
Yeah, I think that when we think about potential negatives with this growth in sports betting, we're seeing some research pointing out to just the negative impact this has on American households, where there's one recent study that shows legalized sports betting is tied to increases in credit card debt and overdrafts. So that's something to be considering when we're looking at this growth of sports betting.
How do you think becoming the sports capital of the world could change the character of Las Vegas in the long run?
No, that's a great question. I think it's just shifting, just showing that Las Vegas is sort of continuing to evolve with the times and trying to keep up with what visitors and tourists want, and just really signifies the growth that we're seeing in the city. Like I mentioned earlier, that population has really boomed over the past few decades, and so it's kind of a sign of just Las Vegas becoming more of a city that we can compare to some of these other major sports cities in the U.S. And based on what the leaders in the city are wanting, hopefully it continues to help draw in visitors to the city and provide for the economy.
Bailey, are there any other sort of conclusions or findings from the research you've done, the people you've talked to, the studies you looked at, that you think people should know about Las Vegas becoming the sports capital of the world?
So I think we've seen the sort of push to turn Las Vegas into the sports capital of the world for a while, but it's interesting to see everything sort of falling into place and really coming to fruition at this point where, we've added 3 major league sports teams in the past decade. We're looking to add a 4th now with Major League Baseball. I think
basketball is probably right around the corner too, men's basketball.
And basketball, lots to talk about basketball too. And so, I think this is just really showing how Las Vegas is growing, how the growth here in the city, and how the leaders in the city are trying to evolve with the times.
Bailey, thank you so much for joining us on CityCast Las Vegas. And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed this show, send it to a friend. You can also rate our show and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. If you go to our website, you can subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.